The two stats that just blew me away when I started to look at this was 80% of millionaires in the United States inherited $0. So the narrative
That's
is
interesting.
everyone inherits wealth and it's just passed down. Well, 80% of Americans inherited nothing. 20% inherited something, 80% nothing. The second one is that 33% of millionaires in America never made more than $100,000 in a single year. So you start to ask yourself, well, how does it that somebody that doesn't make six figures a year become a millionaire? Well, they have to be disciplined and understand personal finance. And so it is possible to do it. It's not everyone. It's hard, right? It's not the easiest thing to do, but it can be done. But there's an element of just understanding, hey, invest. Because at this point, given the inflation and the monetary debasement, it is impossible, literally impossible in America to get a financial security position by saving. 45% of Americans hold no investable assets.
That's so crazy.
So right out
what
of the
is
gate,
an investable asset for people that don't know what that means?
a stock, a bond, cryptocurrency, real estate, right? All the things that are basically are not cash that you're buying because you think that they're going to appreciate in the future. And so really that 45% of folks are living paycheck to paycheck. They keep all of their wealth stored in dollars in a bank account. They tend to be, obviously not very well financially off, but also on top of that, they tend to actually not be nearly as educated about how the system works. So there's a wealth inequality gap, but there's also a very large education gap. And so
Do you think they're one and the same?
I think that the education gap actually drives most of the wealth inequality. And really it's because of the debasement of the currency. Think about if I told you to go play a game and I said, but I'm not going to tell you the rules, right? Be pretty hard to play the game at first, at least. Maybe you figure it out, maybe you don't, but you're obviously going to be much better equipped to play the game if I explain to you how the game works and what the rules are. And so if you think of money or finances as a game, there's really one key rule that everyone has to understand, which is the dollars will be worth less in purchasing power terms over a long period of time. That's not a negative towards the dollar. That's not a positive towards the dollar. It's just that is a fact.
And we call it inflation.
Yeah, and the system is built that way. And the economic argument for why it is built that way is because if I know that my dollars are going to lose purchasing power, meaning that today it costs me $2 to buy a loaf of bread, in 5 years it'll cost me $4 to buy a loaf of bread, I'm financially incentivized to either invest the money or to spend the money. But holding it is a losing proposition. This stuff is hard, and it goes back to there's nobody teaching it in school. And so you basically have two ways to learn. You can learn by doing kind of trial by fire, and some people figure it out, some people don't. Or you're lucky enough to have a parent, a friend, a mentor, somebody else who sits you down and explains it to you. And I think that's why you're seeing such an explosion of interest. Yeah, sure, the meme stocks, cryptocurrencies, it's easy to mock and make fun of these young people, but these young people are interested in understanding how does the market work? How does finances work? How does investing work?